So I talked about wanting to use 3/4 inch rod, and I think that would be overkill for a couple of reasons. I got this, so why not use it?
Right.
It doesn't flex like if I put it here, and I, we're not going to be, leaning on it.
Like, what do you figure
We're just
when
gonna
the
be
staves are cut and the shell is built? Like, I know that those are heavy right now as the big chunk, like raw material, but when that's actually a drum, that'll probably not even weigh half of, that might weigh like maybe a third of one of those.
Well, if we look at like this,
I would be interested.
Probably weighs 25 pounds.
Right. So I'm saying once it's whittled down, it might be 8 pounds. Like when we're whittling it down, it'll be.
Okay, so.
And it'll probably only be the heaviest when it's got the 12 points on it. Once we start chewing material away, obviously it's going to get lighter.
Okay, we were going to start with blanks. Let's say they're 4 inches, maybe a little under.
Okay.
Let's say this is wide enough to get more than 2 sticks this way.
Mm-hmm.
And because we will be cutting, we'll be resawing this, that would be 4 sticks. We're using 6-inch staves. What I say, this is about 30 inches, close. We'll get...
almost 5, full 4.
Well, we'll get 4. We'll get 4 per stick.
Yeah.
So we will start, our blank will be about 2/3 of this whole board, for example.
I may have to trim down the tension rods, which will be fine.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think about 1/3 of this board will be waste. Well, more than that, because there's some knots and stuff here. This actually is a better board. I like the grain on this a little bit too.
It's very,
very
nice.
That's going to be our main one.
We've got to try to have that on the external side for sure.
So again, I think this one, was this the longer one?
No,
that one's 29.
So we can get 6.
Yeah,
we'll get 4.
We'll get 4 sticks out of there, and we only need 3. So 1/4 of this weight, and then we're going to remove again half of that material. So it's not going to be a super light drum, but it's not going to be really heavy. All the research I've done, and I don't know anything about drums. I mean, I know how guitars are put together and how to make them play and stuff, but I don't know anything about drums. But it seems like everything I've looked at, every drum shell that I've seen make, they pretty much always end up being 13 7/8.
Right.
So I think that.
Well, the head, like if you think about the drum head, I think the drum head where it kind of curves because they have that curve because they have the metal frame or whatever, rail or whatever you want to call it. When the drum head rests on the bearing edge, the flat actual contact part will be
there.
This part. This is what's going to hug the aluminum rail.
So the inner part here.
Yes.
We're at
like just under 14.
So we definitely don't want to be bigger than that. I think we do want to be 13 7/8.
Yep.
And I think that's what we'll go for.
Cool.
And so we cut enough material to do 2. And if the first one goes well, great. We'll glue up the second one right away. If the first one goes not so well, we'll figure out what mistake we made.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't even bevel the second set of stave blanks, just in case something is wrong with the angle.
That might be good. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But when I get the table saw set up to do the angle, the first batch, I want to leave that all set exactly like that. Because if we nail it, I don't want to have to go through the whole setup again and hope we get it right. So once we get that set up, and I'm really happy that this goes to 2 decimal points.
Me too, because now we go 15.00.
I watched one guy, the one guy in particular who did the 30 stave one, and I should send you that link. He did 30 staves, but like I said, he was off 0.1 degree. And that was half a stave.
Significant enough.
And it just didn't work.
Right.
He trashed it and started over again. And he's experienced builder.
Well, I think we have less room for error with less for a first project. I think 12, like you said, this is I'm not even a woodworker, so this is like I'm used to screwing together 2x4s and 2x6s and fence posts.
You're a carpenter.
Yeah, that's me. So
I'm just barely a woodworker.
Yeah.
Freaking heavy. Let's get one of these smaller sticks. Feel how heavy that is.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a bat out of it. You can make a baseball bat out of that. Go Jays.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So we'll see how heavy it ends up. So this wood has been acclimatizing for 9 years. I've had this stuff. So I don't think it's really gonna, when we cut it, it might release some stresses and it might move and stuff a bit.
Okay.
But the staves are gonna be small enough that I don't think that's gonna be a big issue. Where I was going with that is there's not a lot of moisture in here.
Right.
So we're not gonna really lose any weight.
Okay.
Other than what ends up going off to waste.
Right.
I'm looking at this and going, man, we should do a blue drum.
I'm open to whatever. I like having a, kind of a universal color. Yeah. That's why I thought maybe a wood grain and a stain.
Yeah.
Might be, like when you mentioned the black, I mean, black's too plain. It matches all colors, right? Yeah. So if you buy a white kit, you can use a black snare with a white kit. I mean, I wouldn't care. I would use it. Even if it was a blue snare. If the snare sounds amazing, it's going to get used.
Yeah, we would use the black just to accentuate the grain, though. We would sand most of that back off.
Right.
And then, do whatever finish. I really like the idea of doing...
I like the amber idea.
Yeah, doing a stain that'll look good, mainly with your orange kit. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it looks good with both kits, that's great. So,
well, the kit looked good, and I had a brass snare, and now it's not brass anymore. It's like, I don't know what color that is, but...
Got a little bit of rock. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get that flat and parallel. Do we really need to? Because we're going to be taking off a lot on the outside.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We are running it through the planer. Hopefully that'll take some of that down.
We'll run it through the planer, yeah. And you know what? As long as we can get enough thickness, because when we run it through the table saw to resaw it, we'll have one really flat face. And again, I don't think it matters so much because we're putting this together and then we're going to mill it off anyway.
Right.
So the only reason it matters if we're not perfectly parallel is
I think the main
is if the seams don't close up right.
Yeah, we want our bevels to we want this thing to lock up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no,
I'm excited.
I think we're good. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to doing this. I hope this goes easy. This project. It might. I'm pretty sure we're going to be working on it till Christmas at least.
Okay.
But hopefully not past Christmas. But
you may have to shoot a little bit of material if you're shooting during the week.
Like I say, you've got less time than me, so I might do a bunch of prep stuff and film prep stuff. And then when we can get together to work on this, you know, that'll feature you doing that stuff more.
Yeah.
Let's keep that in mind for when we're doing the jigs, because that, for me, I think is going to be the hard. Milling this stuff is going to be easy. Mm-hmm. Cutting this all down and getting the staves and gluing.
That'll be the easy
okay
part.
For that. Yeah. The jigs are going to be weird. I was also thinking about that. Like, I got really in my head about getting everything super, super, super accurate. Mm-hmm. And the more I think about it, the more I think, like, no, you kind of just really got to be close for stuff.
Yeah, and I think really, in my opinion, the precision is like getting the angles for where the lugs are going to get mounted, because you want that even tension on the head. Yeah. So where I would be, the accuracy I felt would be like making sure, like, you know, this is exactly whatever. Yeah. 40 degrees or whatever, 8 lugs, 360, you know.
And when we're milling it round, we don't want it to be oblong. We want it to be round. Mm-hmm. But what I mean by close enough, like if this were the router cutter were here. Yeah. And this was going to cut. If this was going across it, you know, a little off kilter, it's still going to cut the way it's going to cut. Right. Right. So, and because we're going to be rolling the shell around it, you know, if it's a little crooked and it's higher here or higher here, at the end of the day, that's the part that's cutting, and everything will be round to that part. Right. And it's not going to be off that much anyway. Yeah. And the other thing I'm not sure about, like, we'll be using that router table, and it's really flat, but clamping the jig down so it doesn't move. Because you can't get clamps. The one thing I don't like about having that in the table saw is you can't really get clamps on either end. Right. So I might need to get some deeper throated clamps, and then I could.
Right. Another thing, I know this is still recording, but I was just thinking while you were talking about the color, what if we asked you asked the, like, say, hey, does anybody have a suggestion? Like, not a suggestion, but like...
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Like put your idea in the comments.
Yeah. Make comments, anything, really. How do you think we should finish this?
Yeah.
Do you have suggestions for how we should go about this? This is something neither one of us has ever done. I have a pretty good idea of the process, and we've talked about it enough. You have an idea of the process, but if any of you have done this and you have pointers, we'd really appreciate it. So yeah, definitely leave comments.